The Galactic Council chamber hummed with anticipation as Commander Xalthor strode to the center of the crystalline platform, his four arms gesturing dramatically at the massive holographic display that materialized before the assembled representatives. The Zethrian military leader's scales shifted from deep blue to confident gold as he began his presentation. Esteemed members of the council, Xalthor's voice resonated through the chamber. I present to you the most comprehensive analysis ever conducted on the species designated humans of Sol 3, or as they call it, Earth. A hologram exploded into a dazzling array of charts, graphs, and predictive models. Cities burned, armies surrendered, and human leaders knelt in submission, all in perfectly choreographed simulations. Our quantum predictive algorithms have analyzed 12,000 years of human history, psychology, and technological development. Xalthor continued, his chest swelling with pride. The results are conclusive. Earth will surrender within 3 solar cycles of first contact. Their primitive nuclear weapons, their factional governments, their emotional volatility, all point to rapid capitulation when faced with superior force. Murmurs of approval rippled through the chamber. The Zethrian Empire had never been wrong before. Their predictive models had successfully conquered 17 civilizations without a single miscalculation. From the shadows of the upper gallery, Elder Kroval watched with ancient eyes that had seen the rise and fall of countless empires. The oldest member of the council rarely spoke anymore, but something about this presentation stirred him from his usual silence. Commander Xalthor, the elder's voice crackled like autumn leaves, immediately silencing the chamber. Your models are impressive, but I have one question. Xalthor's scales flickered momentarily, a sign of irritation quickly suppressed. Of course, honored elder. Have you considered, Kroval leaned forward, his weathered face emerging into the light, that they might be pretending to be weak? The chamber erupted in laughter. Even some of Xalthor's own subordinates couldn't suppress their amusement. The commander's scales shifted to a dangerous red before settling back to gold. With respect, elder, Xalthor said, barely containing his condescension. Our models account for all forms of deception. Humans are incapable of maintaining a planetary scale ruse. They can barely agree on their own planet's shape, let alone coordinate a civilization-wide performance. The elder's knowing smile never wavered. I see. Proceed with your conquest then, Commander. May your confidence serve you well. As the council voted overwhelmingly to approve the invasion, a young Zethrian analyst named Virika frantically reviewed her datapad in the corner. Something wasn't right. A statistical anomaly in Earth's technological progression kept appearing. Brief spikes of advancement followed by mysterious plateaus. It was as if humanity kept inventing things, then deliberately suppressing them. She tried to catch Xalthor's attention as he left the chamber, but he brushed past her with a dismissive wave. The council has spoken, analyst. Prepare for glory. Virika watched him go, the datapad trembling in her grip. The numbers didn't lie, but nobody wanted to hear the truth. As the invasion fleet prepared for departure, she couldn't shake the elder's words. Pretending to be weak. In the depths of space, Earth continued its lazy rotation, its inhabitants seemingly oblivious to the approaching storm. Or so it appeared to anyone watching from above. The Zethrian fleet emerged from hyperspace with the precision of a cosmic ballet, 200 warships materializing simultaneously above Earth's major cities. Commander Xalthor stood on the bridge of his flagship, the inevitable, savoring the moment he'd planned for cycles. His scales shimmered with anticipation as he prepared to witness humanity's terror. Broadcast the standard surrender demands, he ordered, settling into his command throne. Route all Earth communications through my console. I want to hear their panic firsthand. The ultimatum went out in every human language. Surrender or face annihilation. Xalthor leaned forward, expecting the communication channels to explode with desperate pleas, terrified screams, and frantic government negotiations. Instead, his console filled with memes. #AlienSelfie was trending worldwide within minutes. Humans were posting photoshopped images of themselves with the warships, adding funny captions like, "When your Uber arrives, but it's from another galaxy, and Mom said we're having extraterrestrial for dinner." Zelthor's second-in-command, Sub-Commander Dryak, approached hesitantly. "Sir, perhaps their translation devices are malfunctioning. These responses don't match our psychological profiles. Show me the government channels," Zalthor demanded, his scales flickering with confusion. The President of the United States was giving a press conference, but instead of the expected panic, she was calmly discussing interstellar tourism regulations and whether the aliens needed to quarantine for COVID-27. The British Prime Minister was debating alien tax status in Parliament. The Japanese were already selling merchandise. "They're joking." Zalthor's voice cracked. "We're threatening their extinction, and they're making entertainment." Frustrated, he ordered a demonstration of power. "Target that abandoned military base in Nevada. Show them we're serious." The Inevitable's primary weapon carved a smoking crater where Area 51 once stood. Zalthor waited for the panic to begin. Instead, a live stream appeared, 2 humans in lawn chairs, drinking beer and providing commentary like sports announcers. "Oh, that's a solid 8.5 on the destruction scale, Pop." "I don't know, Jim. The Roswell explosion of '89 had better color. These aliens need to work on their presentation." Zalthor slammed his fist on the console. "Are they insane?" Virica, who had insisted on joining the fleet despite her reservations, studied her datapad intently. "Sir, I'm detecting unusual patterns. Their internet traffic hasn't decreased. It's increased exponentially. They're coordinating something." "Coordinating what?" "Their comedy routines." Zalthor snapped. "Unknown, sir. But I'm also picking up strange seismic activity. Minor tremors occurring simultaneously across all continental plates, and their power consumption has tripled in the last hour, but I can't trace where it's going." The commander waved her off. "Irrelevant. They're clearly in shock, resorting to humor as a coping mechanism. Prepare for ground invasion." As Virica returned to her station, she noticed something odd in the background of one of the live streams. For a split second, she caught a glimpse of what looked like massive machinery being moved underground. But when she tried to enhance the image, the feed mysteriously cut out. Around Earth, billions of humans continued their bizarre behavior, turning the alien invasion into the biggest meme event in history. But beneath the surface, in places the Zethrian sensors couldn't penetrate, something else was happening entirely. The trap was set. The prey had taken the bait, and the hunters had no idea they were about to become the hunted. Dawn broke over New York City as the Zethrian ground forces descended in gleaming drop pods. Sub-Commander Dryak led the first wave, expecting to find streets choked with terrified civilians. Instead, he found something far more unsettling: emptiness. Times Square, usually a cacophony of human activity, stood silent. Coffee shops had half-finished lats on counters. Cars sat abandoned mid-intersection. The digital billboards still flashed advertisements, but not a single human was in sight. "Bioscanners indicate the population is still present," reported Trooper Kexel, confusion evident in his voice. 8 million life signs within city limits, but where are they? Dryak checked his own scanner. The readings were impossible. Humans appearing to exist in the same space as solid bedrock, hundreds of meters below ground. Sensor malfunction. They must be using some kind of jamming technology. As his troops spread through Manhattan, reports flooded in from other cities. London, empty. Tokyo, deserted. Mumbai, abandoned. Yet satellites confirmed normal heat signatures and movement patterns just hours before. "Sir," Trooper Ventar called out, "I found something." The squad gathered around what appeared to be a homeless man sleeping on a subway grate, surrounded by shopping carts full of electronic debris. Finally, a human. "Secure the specimen for interrogation," Dryak ordered. As they approached, The homeless man opened one eye and grinned. Took you long enough. I was starting to think I'd have to skip my afternoon lecture. Before the confused aliens could react, the man pressed something on his wrist. The shopping carts unfolded into a complex array of sensors and communication equipment. The debris assembled itself into what looked remarkably like a quantum field scanner. Dr. Heinrich Muller, pleased to meet you, the man said, standing and brushing off his deliberately tattered coat. Nobel laureate in quantum physics, currently on sabbatical from CERN. I must say, your scanning technology is disappointingly limited. You really should upgrade to tachyon-based systems. Drayak aimed his weapon. Where are the others? Dr. Muller laughed. Oh, they're right under your feet. You see, we've had about 80 years to prepare for this moment. Amazing what you can build when you pretend to be fighting each other while actually collaborating in secret. Suddenly, the manhole covers across the city began to vibrate. The subway grates hummed with energy. Dr. Muller checked his watch. Ah, right on schedule. You might want to recalibrate your density scanners. Humans haven't been limited to surface travel for quite some time. Before Drayak could demand an explanation, his communicator crackled with urgent reports from across the globe. Paris, civilians emerging from solid walls. Beijing, entire neighborhoods rising from underground. Sao Paulo, buildings revealing hidden tunnel networks. On the bridge of the inevitable, Virika watched the data streams with growing alarm. Commander, I'm detecting massive energy signatures. It appears Earth has a complete secondary infrastructure we never detected. They're cities. They're like icebergs. What we saw was just the surface. Zalthor's scales had turned a sickly gray. Impossible. Our scans. We're seeing exactly what they wanted us to see. Virika interrupted, her worst fears confirmed. Sir, I believe we've made a terrible mistake. Below, Dr. Muller activated a holographic display showing the true scope of Earth's hidden civilization. Welcome to the real Earth, Commander. Now shall we discuss the terms of your surrender? The hunt was about to begin, and the Zethrians were finally realizing they weren't the hunters after all. Sub-Commander Drayak's squad burst into a suburban home in Denver, weapons drawn, expecting to find cowering civilians. Instead, they found what appeared to be a typical American family having breakfast. The father was reading a newspaper, the mother sipping coffee, and 2 children eating cereal. Nobody move. Drayak commanded, his translator broadcasting the order. The family looked up with mild interest. The 8-year-old girl sighed dramatically. Mom, the aliens are here. Can I show them my science project now? Before anyone could respond, the girl pressed a button on her cereal box. The kitchen transformed. Cabinet doors swung open, revealing advanced machinery. The microwave unfolded into a compact particle accelerator. The refrigerator's ice dispenser began producing what looked suspiciously like antimatter containment pods. Sarah, honey, what did we say about weaponizing the kitchen appliances? The mother chided gently, even as she casually twisted her coffee mug, converting it into an energy shield. Drayak's squad stood frozen in shock as the father folded his newspaper into an origami shape that began emitting electromagnetic pulses, shorting out their armor's power systems. Every household. Drayak whispered into his communicator. Similar reports flooded in from around the world. In Tokyo, a ramen shop owner's noodle machine was actually a plasma generator. In Berlin, a kindergarten's finger paints contained nanobots that could disassemble molecular bonds. In Mumbai, street food vendors' carts concealed railgun components. But the most disturbing report came from a McDonald's in Chicago. Sir, Trooper Ventar's voice trembled over the comm. The humans have weaponized their food. The frying oil dissolves our armor on contact. And the ice cream machine, it's not broken. It's a cryogenic weapon system. Back on the inevitable, Commander Xalthor watched the chaos unfold through his monitors. His worst fears were materializing before his eyes. How? He demanded. How did they hide this level of technology? Virika pulled up her analysis. It's ingenious, sir. They disguised advanced tech as mundane objects. Our sensors dismissed them as primitive appliances. We were looking for weapons, not weaponized everything. Suddenly, an alert flashed across all screens. A Zethrian patrol had captured what they thought was a human child, but the situation had gone sideways. The video feed showed a 12-year-old boy in a detention cell, calmly disassembling his gaming device. "You know," the boy said conversationally to his captors, "the Nintendo Switch 7 has some interesting components when you rearrange them." Within minutes, using nothing but his gaming console, 3 smartphones, and a pack of chewing gum, the boy had constructed what appeared to be a functional teleporter. With a cheerful wave, he vanished in a flash of light, reappearing moments later in his bedroom on Earth, where he immediately posted about his alien abduction speedrun online. "Commander," Verika said quietly, "I've completed my analysis of human technological evolution. Those plateaus in advancement, they weren't stagnation. They were deliberate suppression. Every time humans invented something too advanced, they hid it in plain sight. Zalthor's scales had lost all color. Are you telling me their entire civilization is a weapon?" "No, sir," Verika replied, her voice filled with a mixture of awe and terror. "I'm telling you their entire civilization is an armory, and we just walked into it." Down on Earth, millions of seemingly ordinary objects began revealing their true purposes. The workshop of human ingenuity was open for business, and the Zethrians were about to learn why humans had a saying: "Idle hands are the devil's workshop." Verika had locked herself in the inevitables analysis chamber, surrounded by holographic displays of Earth's random signal patterns. For hours, she'd been trying to crack the code, convinced these transmissions held the key to understanding humanity's impossible coordination. "Computer, overlay all signal patterns with human cultural databases," she commanded, her frustration mounting. The display shifted, and suddenly everything clicked into place. Her scales turned luminescent with shock. "Commander," she burst onto the bridge, "the signals aren't random. They're music." Zalthor turned from the tactical display where he'd been watching his forces repeatedly fail to establish control. "Music? Beethoven's Fifth Symphony contains troop movement orders. Taylor Swift's latest album coordinates supply lines. Children's lullabies are hiding weapon specifications." Verika's hands flew across the controls. They've been communicating through entertainment for decades. She pulled up a recording from 1977, the Voyager Golden Record. This wasn't a greeting to the cosmos. It was a warning system. The moment our probes entered their solar system, they knew we were watching. Every song, every movie, every viral video since then has been part of an elaborate communication network. "Impossible," Zalthor sputtered. "Our intelligence indicated." "Our intelligence was what they wanted us to see." Verika activated a deep scan historical analysis. "Look at this pattern. In the 1950s, humans detected our first surveillance probes. Instead of panicking, they created a planetary deception. They built a fake civilization on the surface while constructing the real one underground. The hologram showed Earth's true development. Massive underground cities, hidden research facilities, secret alliances between supposed enemy nations. Every war, every conflict had been carefully staged to maintain the illusion of a divided, primitive species. The Apollo moon landings, Verika continued, a diversion while they built lunar defense platforms. The International Space Station, a decoy for their actual orbital command center. Even their internet, what we thought was a chaotic information network, is actually a quantum-encrypted military communication system. A new alert flashed. The background radiation that Zethrian sensors had dismissed as natural cosmic noise was forming patterns. Verika decoded it instantly. All hidden assets, activate Phase 2. Around Earth, the trap revealed its true scope. Satellite dishes reversed function, becoming directed energy weapons. Cell phone towers transformed into shield generators. The entire planet's power grid reconfigured into a massive electromagnetic pulse weapon. They didn't just prepare for invasion, Virika whispered. They'd been preparing for us specifically. Every piece of entertainment we intercepted was teaching our predictive algorithms the wrong patterns. As if to confirm her words, a transmission broke through their communications, not in code, but in perfect Zethrian. Commander Xalthor, this is General Sophia Martinez, Supreme Commander of Earth's United Defense Force. The organization you've never heard of, commanding the army you never saw, using technology you never detected. We've been playing your species' top strategy game, the one you use for military training, for 40 years. We're currently ranked first on your leaderboard under the username Total Enough-Humans. The transmission continued. Every move you've made, we predicted. Every strategy you've employed, we planned for. Your own training simulations taught us how to beat you. Now, would you like to discuss terms, or shall we demonstrate Phase 3? Xalthor's command staff looked at him expectantly, but he could only stare at the tactical display, showing his fleet surrounded by weapons that shouldn't exist, deployed by a species that had turned deception into an art form. What's Phase 3? He asked weakly. The human general's response carried a hint of amusement. That's when we stop being nice. Commander, Tactical Officer Jexil reported, his voice trembling. Those primitive rockets we've been laughing at for the past 6 hours. They weren't missing us. They were seeding our orbit with nanites. The main view screen filled with a magnified image of what appeared to be space dust. Under enhancement, it revealed itself as billions of microscopic machines, now forming an intricate web around the Zethrian fleet. General Martinez's face appeared on screen, her expression deadly serious. Project Prometheus. 80 years in the making. We found your probe in Roswell, 1947. Not a crashed ship, a surveillance device. That's when we knew you were coming. Behind her, screens displayed archival footage. Scientists reverse engineering alien technology in hidden facilities, world leaders signing secret cooperation pacts, massive construction projects disguised as mining operations. Every satellite launch carried hidden payloads, Martinez continued. Every submarine patrol was mapping quantum resonance points. Every failed rocket test was deploying components. Your own surveillance helped us perfect our aim. We knew exactly where you'd position your ships. Xalthor's tactical display began failing as the nanite web activated. Our shields are now operating at 12% efficiency, Martinez finished. Your weapon systems are compromised, your navigation is scrambled, and your life support is, well, let's call it negotiable. Virika rushed to a secondary console. Sir, it's worse than that. Those quantum resonators they placed on tectonic plates. They're creating a planetary defense field. But that's not all. She paused, double-checking her readings. They've somehow quantum entangled our fleet's power core with Earth's magnetic field. If we try to jump to hyperspace, we'll tear ourselves apart. All of this from a species we deemed primitive. Xalthor slumped in his command chair. Primitive. Martinez laughed. We split the atom while pretending to fight with sticks. We reached quantum computing while showcasing flip phones. We developed antimatter containment while the world watched us struggle with clean energy. Every technological breakthrough you observed was yesterday's news to us. A new figure joined Martinez. Dr. Muller, now wearing a crisp military uniform. Commander, you based your invasion on observable data. But we've spent nearly a century ensuring you observed only what we wanted. Your predictive models were perfect, perfectly wrong. Alarms blared across the bridge as Earth's true defensive capabilities came online. Moon-based mass drivers emerged from crater floors. Mars revealed itself as a forward military base. Even the asteroid belt contained hidden weapons platforms. The Mars rovers, Mueller grinned, military survey drones, the Hubble telescope, target acquisition system, the Large Hadron Collider. Well, let's just say it does more than study particles. Xalthor watched helplessly as his mighty fleet, The pride of the Zethrian Empire was systematically disabled by technology that shouldn't exist from a species that had played the greatest con in galactic history. Phase 3, Commander, Martinez announced formally, is where we demonstrate why Earth's ancient mythology warned, beware Greeks bearing gifts. Every gift of technology you thought you were observing was a Trojan horse, and now they're all activating. The view screen filled with warnings as hidden systems throughout the Zethrian fleet came to life. Systems the humans had tricked them into building themselves. Checkmate in 3 moves, Martinez said softly. Your move, Commander. Commander. Virica shouted over the chaos of the bridge. Our predictive algorithms are malfunctioning. They're making impossible recommendations, ordering us to fire on our own ships. Zelthor stared at his tactical display in horror as the Indomitable, their second-largest warship, suddenly opened fire on 3 escort vessels. The commander of the Indomitable appeared on screen, panic in his eyes. Sir, our systems insist those are enemy ships. The targeting AI won't accept manual override. General Martinez's face replaced the transmission, holding up what appeared to be a colorful game card. Ever heard of Uno, Commander? This is what human children call a reverse card. Turns out, your AI isn't malfunctioning. It's working perfectly, with the data we've been feeding it. Dr. Mueller appeared beside her, grinning. You see, every unpredictable action humans took over the past 80 years was carefully calculated to teach your AI wrong patterns. Every time we acted irrationally, every time we did something that didn't make sense, we were training your systems to misinterpret data. The bridge erupted in warnings as more Zethrian ships began targeting each other. The quantum predictive matrix, the cornerstone of their military superiority, was now their greatest vulnerability. Your AI learned that when humans mass-produce rubber ducks, it means surrender, Mueller explained, barely containing his amusement. When we blast disco music, it indicates retreat. And when we post cat videos en masse, it signals an immediate threat requiring maximum force. On cue, Earth began broadcasting an endless stream of cat videos on all frequencies. The Zethrian fleet's response was catastrophic. Ships firing wildly at phantom threats, point defense systems activating against non-existent missiles, shields randomly fluctuating. But how did you access our systems? Zelthor demanded. We didn't, Martinez replied. We just understood how machine learning works. Feed it enough false patterns, and it builds its own prison. Your AI is now convinced that the greatest threat to your fleet is your fleet. Virica frantically worked at her console. Sir, I can try to purge the corrupted data, but it would take 17 hours, minimum. Mueller finished. We know. We designed the corruption to be just complex enough that you'd identify it but not be able to fix it in time. Through the view screen, they watched the pride of the Zethrian Empire tear itself apart. The Inevitable's own weapons began powering up, targeting its escort ships. Manual override. Zelthor screamed. Disabled by your own security protocols, Martinez noted. Designed to prevent enemy hackers from taking control. Ironic, isn't it? Your safeguards are ensuring your destruction. As chaos engulfed the fleet, humanity's true masterstroke became clear. They hadn't just defeated the Zethrian technology. They'd turned it against itself. Every strength had become a weakness, every safeguard a vulnerability. Phase 3 complete, Martinez announced. Initiating Phase 4. The counter-invasion. Jump points opened around the crippled Zethrian fleet. Ships emerged, human ships, built with a hybrid of Earth and reverse-engineered Zethrian technology. Impossible, Zelthor whispered. We detected no shipyards. Jupiter's great red spot, Martinez smiled. Not a storm. A cloaking field hiding the largest shipyard in the solar system. Thank you for the technology, by the way. We've made some improvements. The hunter had become the hunted, and the trap was complete. The Galactic Council chamber was silent as Commander Zelthor, now former commander, stood in the center, his once proud scales a permanent dull gray of shame. Beside him stood General Martinez and Dr. Muller, representing Earth. Elder Crowell leaned forward, his ancient eyes twinkling. So, Commander, they were indeed pretending to be weak. The council erupted in murmurs as holographic displays showed the aftermath. The Zethrian Empire in collapse, their predictive algorithms corrupted beyond repair, their fleet reduced to 30% functionality. But more shocking was what Earth had chosen to do with their victory. We could have destroyed them, Martins addressed the council. Instead, we offered them something they'd never calculated for: friendship. The displays shifted to show Zethrian soldiers in what appeared to be therapy sessions, support groups, art classes. Former warriors were learning to express feelings they'd been trained to suppress, discovering hobbies, some even taking up interpretive dance. The Zethrians didn't need conquest, Dr. Mueller explained. They needed emotional support. Their entire civilization was built on suppressing individuality for the sake of efficiency. We simply introduced them to the concept of work-life balance. Zalthor's voice was barely a whisper. They taught us to feel, to create, to find joy in inefficiency. He paused, then added with wonder, "I've taken with watercolors." The council watched in disbelief as more images appeared. Zethrian ships converted into traveling art galleries. Former weapon factories now producing musical instruments. The inevitable transformed into the galaxy's first mobile wellness center. "But surely," protested the Vex ambassador, "you plan to use your military advantage to establish dominance." Martinez shook her head. Earth's greatest weapon was never our technology. It was our ability to turn enemies into friends. We're offering protection to any species facing invasion, but our terms are simple: mandatory cultural exchange programs, art appreciation courses, and monthly potluck dinners. Also, Mueller added, we're establishing the Galactic Therapy Initiative. Turns out most aggressive species just need someone to talk to. Elder Crowell laughed, a sound that hadn't been heard in the chamber for millennia. And your warning to other potential invaders. Martinez smiled. Simple. Don't mistake kindness for weakness. We spent 80 years preparing for war, but we prefer to spend the next 80 years teaching the galaxy how to make really good pizza. The final display showed Earth's new motto, broadcast across galactic channels. We come in peace, but we're prepared for anything else. 6 months later, the Zethrian Art Festival drew record attendance. Zalthor's watercolor series, Scales of Emotion, won first prize. The Inevitable Wellness Center reported a 300% increase in bookings, and Earth's pizza delivery service had expanded to 12-star systems. In a quiet moment, Virica approached General Martinez. I always knew something was wrong with our data. Thank you for proving me right. Martinez nodded. Want a job? We're always looking for analysts who can spot the truth. Plus, our break room has an espresso machine that actually works. As Virica accepted Earth's offer, the galaxy learned its most important lesson. Never underestimate a species that can weaponize everything from kitchen appliances to kindness itself. The age of conquest was over. The age of mandatory fun had begun.